Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. Coming up, I have a special guest, my boy D. We call him D. His name is Demarus Dye of the Dye Sport Network and of the Flex Zone. We talk about TLC. We talk about the NWA, Ring of Honor, and AEW. So make sure you tune in. And then immediately after the show, it'll be a preview of the world premiere of my new show, Breaking Glass Ceilings with Brian H. Shout out to Hypnosis on the Beat for not only episodes 100 through 101 of Break It Down with Brian H, but he also gave the music for Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. But ladies and gentlemen, here is the TLC Post-Show, episode 101.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just going to keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Wrealm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, in this episode, I am joined by the man himself, Demarus Dye. We call him D. That's what our clique, that's what we know him as. You may know him from the Dye Sport Net and the Flex Zone. D, what's going on, man?
Brian, how you feeling tonight, man?
Man, I'm good. You know, TLC, it was a heavy performance-based pay-per-view as opposed to a lot of story. I mean, there was some story going in tonight. However, what I saw was, you know, and I listened to Corey Graves' podcast, felt like this would be a pay-per-view that they would focus more on the wrestling, and the action was good. That's, you know, my initial thoughts before we jump into this rundown.
Yeah, you know, I thought the pay-per-view did its job, man. It got some people over. You know, Corbin got a big win tonight. I know, of course, he cheated, but he's a heel. It's supposed to do. The Kabuki Warriors really look legit. I mean...
Well, let's get right into it. You started right there because that's where I was going to start. Kabuki Warriors getting a win, retaining the tag team championships. Were you surprised?
No, I thought it was the right move. You got two singles players. We know how good Charlotte and Becky is, but the Kabuki Warriors need to step up, and then you can continue with Becky and Asuka in a separate singles role for the Raw's Women's title at the Rumble. So I think it did its job.
I really like this. D, I got to ask you though, right? So I've been listening, you know, I listen to a lot of podcasts and I hear, you know, I'm going to bring up Corey Graves again because he said it and I disagree with him. So I got to ask you, do you think that Charlotte Flair is losing steam and she's not coming off as important as she has been since she's come into the main roster in 2015?
I mean, she's won it all, Brian. You know, I mean, sometimes you got to go down a little bit to come back up. And I'm not saying she's down. It's just the Raw women's situation. They have a lot of injuries to certain women, so they're trying to make do what they can. And I think they've done well. But Charlotte and Becky both is kind of in the holding pattern. But if we can get two certain people to come back, well, one to come back and one to come up from NXT, I think they'll be all right.
Okay, I'm assuming you're talking about Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler.
Correct, Ramondo.
So here's the thing, right? I don't think Charlotte is losing much steam. I think the expectations are high for the Queen. I also think that this was good right here. What she did is doing what her father made a living doing, putting people over. You said it. This got the Kabuki Warriors over. They got a huge spot, a main event win, right?
Never.
And, you know, as a matter of fact, I'm going to roll the tapped out right here because here's my tapped out.
Here's our tapped out segment of the week.
My tapped out is they decided to crap on the main event by having a dusty finish to the show afterwards with the men. I did not like that at all. How'd you feel?
I get the whole balling aspect, but I kind of agree with you, Brian. I mean, we've seen the backstage right before the main event. They could have kept it as that, and maybe on YouTube or maybe a network's clip, you know, put that on. But I don't think the main pay-per-view needed that.
That's why you're my brother, man. I agree. I just didn't like it. I mean, the women went out there, they did their thing. It was just absolutely no reason for you guys to go out there and send the men out there. Um, I get like that's a huge story or whatever, but come on now. Like it just that really irritated me. But we can get right into that match where Corbin was successful. Like you said, he cheated to win. I was sort of surprised, but then again, I wasn't. I thought I would have rather seen him like I would have rather seen Roman kind of come back, do what he did right before that, and just end it right there. If Corbin couldn't like finish off with the win and a braggadocious celebration, just have Roman do what he did, But I didn't need this at the end of the night.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, just looking at it, everybody brawling, both brands end up brawling. Is this the people that's gonna be in the Rumble? I guess maybe that's teasing to that. I don't know, Brian. We'll see. But I think for Corbin, mighty quick, he needed this win to kind of establish himself. The last couple of King of the Rings has been kind of jokes, so he's probably the best credible one since Sheamus.
I gotta give you that one now. Generally, the best King of the Rings have been heels. You think about Bret Hart and Edge. I think they may be and Neville. Did Neville win King of the Ring or he lost?
No. It was Barrett, but Neville beat him so much that he thought it was Neville.
Okay, right. But yeah, so Bret and Edge, they won the King of the Ring. Bret had the coordination. Edge didn't even have a coordination, and then you just tend to you forgot about it. So.
Right.
You think about guys like Baron Corbin, you think about like Owen Hart,
Booker T,
Sheamus, Booker T, Regal. These guys win the King of the Ring and they constantly remind you of it. So I like that. I love this whole thing with King Corbin. I thought the way they built up to it made sense, and it made you think, what they building a little bit too much. He's not going to win it, and he actually did. So it wasn't like one of those things where they tried to jump the shark and only say, haha, you thought you knew. No, they went with something and kept it there. And then, and now we're seeing him reap the benefits of it.
Right. It's look like he's getting the little King's Court together. I'm hearing word that Drake Maverick's been managing them on live shows, so maybe they might introduce that soon, get a little stable going, and something for Roman to overcome. He don't have to get right into the main event belt stage. He can have something to overcome.
I mean, now, is it a bad thing if we get Roman back in the title picture?
I still think it is. I think we need a little bit more time.
Okay.
For him to kind of be out of that picture and then bring him back. He don't get booed, like that because of him fighting leukemia, and thank goodness for that. He fought it and overcame, and I just want to make sure he get that full run, man. I say by this time next year, going into Mania, maybe you can put him back in the title picture.
All right. Speaking of the title picture, Miz, Bray Wyatt, no championship on the line. Matter of fact, shout out to Blake. He called me. And D, you can answer this question. When's the last time there has not been one world title on the line, men or women, in one show? Do you know? Because
wow.
The only thing I could think about was maybe a bragging rights show, but even those shows, I felt like they slipped a women's championship match on there, or they even slipped a at least one of the world titles on there, or even just say
the last couple Survivor Series until this year, no belts was on the line. No.
Well, let's not include that just because of the fact it's the Survivor Series. You know what I mean? But just like
right.
the men's or women's world championships.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Man, you've been watching wrestling a long time, man. I can't remember.
Yeah. If you're out there, make sure you tweet us at Brian H. Waters, at DieSportNet, at Wrestling Realm. Let us know, when's the last time there was not a world championship that was not a Survivor Series on the line on the pay-per-view. But we talk about The Miz and Bray Wyatt. Now, when I saw this match, D, I was irritated that The Miz was in his gear, because I'm looking at it like, you said this is personal, and you aren't going to be the Miz going into this match. So I felt that he should have been wearing, some street gear.
I feel, man, that we see that a lot sometimes. We've seen that with Kofi. He had the big title loss, still coming out happy-go-lucky, and same with the Miz tonight. You kind of it kind of take you away from the match. It's like, well, you're supposed to be upset, man. He didn't broke a code, and coming out, still with the Miz glasses and the get up and all that. And I mean, but that being said, it was a good match, and Bray Wyatt is wrestling like I thought he should in this character. As Bray, he kind of like lovable, Mr. Rogers, but then snap into it. It reminds you, and shout out to Austin and Undertaker. They had the Broken Skull sessions, and they got the one with Goldberg as we speak now. I know we both gonna technically go back and look at that, but remind you that early Undertaker character when he did stuff slow, and then out of nowhere he did something fast.
Mm-hmm.
And the Wyatt character's been done magnificently, by the way.
Oh, phenomenal! Absolutely. And I love that they did put a stamp on this. It would have been nice to see the Miz get the win, but it wouldn't have made sense at the same time,
Right.
just because of the character. So I think Miz being who he is, Miz being somebody he could take this L and not be affected. You made it personal. Right. Okay, I bit off more than I could chew. This guy, he went out, he beat me, he won. But now here comes a guy, and you notice on the different shows, they talked about the dynamics with him and Daniel Bryan, and now how there's a respect level there. Right. Daniel Bryan returned tonight, shaved head, looking like Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan 2012, who was the world heavyweight champion. D, is Daniel Bryan the guy to take the Universal Championship from the Fiend?
No, but he will get close.
Okay.
We'll get close. First of all, I love the American Dragon look he has again. You know what they say? Sometimes old is new.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely looked good in it. It makes I gotta say, it makes the Miz, for the first time in his career, a sympathetic character. You never liked the Miz in any form of him, but this really made him sympathetic, man. And I think they did a good job of making him like, man, he's been a heel for so long. He's done some despicable things, but man, the man's family getting messed with. Now even he don't deserve that,
That's true.
And it's been done well. I mean, I know in our chats a lot we get on. I call it NyQuil. We get on Raw and SmackDown and company, but props to them when they do something good, and this has been done well.
Yeah, it has been, but I'm looking at this, and I know, of course, it's the Daniel Bryan fan in me that has hope that DB can be the guy. Now, I would even say this: you could run this story all the way to WrestleMania.
You could, yeah, you definitely could.
And it wouldn't get boring because these two characters have a way that they can lock you in, right? Definitely. And then, therefore, for the second year in a row, give Raw the Royal Rumble winner, Andrade. No, I wouldn't even go there. I've heard Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar for the title. I know Daniel Cormier said considering Cormier's considering coming to the WWE, so that's a potential championship match. I don't want to see neither. I want to see a WWE guy. I want to see the belt off Lesnar. I want to see it back on a full timer on Monday Night Raw, Drew McIntyre.
Yes, or AJ Styles.
Yeah, absolutely. But if it's not Daniel Bryan, who is the guy that you see? And this is an early prediction as we sit here, December 15th, going into December 16th. Matter of fact, shout out to my sister Shadell. Happy birthday to her, and my cousin Brandon, and then my sister Nikki's birthday, who was yesterday. Oh, wow. Who is the guy to overcome the Fiend at WrestleMania? Or at least face him.
You say Mania?
Or at least face him, because, he doesn't even have to beat him.
Can we get Strowman? I mean, Strowman can get healthy again. Can we get that?
I
I don't want to
mean,
go to the Roman Reigns card so quick. You know what I
I
mean?
feel you. You know what though? You wanted something with Strowman because he would have to dig deep, and that's family.
Right.
That you cooking with grease, as the real Dwayne Allen would say. So let's move on, right? Bobby Lashley defeats Rusev, and him and Lana walk off into the sunset. Probably. D, where are you with this story?
What was you know how we used to have the calm down match? Was that the calm down match tonight? Because I don't know if many people got into that one tonight. I'm done with it, but it's getting 5 million views on YouTube, man. So I mean, what can you say? I'm kind of done with it. I want Rusev to go his separate way, and Lashley and Lana can do their thing, and then they both can get irritated. Hey, did you hear the booking CM Punk had? I actually like that.
What did he say? I missed it.
He said on backstage, have them have the blow off, and then down the road here, maybe late January, February, Lashley get tired of Lana, and then him and Rusev team up at Mania against Lana tag team she picks. And then she get in the shark cage, and then the loser I had to take Lana.
Nah. That's why CM Punk doesn't book wrestling. If he did, that's why wrestlers don't book wrestling. You get AEW.
Oh, low blow.
No, come on. Why? So I think Lana should be leading Lashley to the WWE Championship. Personally, I think
no doubt.
if Lashley is WWE Championship material, and to have a beautiful woman by his side, I think that's how you should get him in that picture. I thought Leo Rush could have been the guy to do it, but then it was all the rumors that Leo was having issues backstage. So it was like, sheesh, Lashley, you like this guy, you finally, Leo, we got this guy over and everything. Who knows? Maybe he just did that just to get out of that situation. But I think Lashley, I think he's in main event talent. And I've always said it was the mouthpiece that was missing for him. Well, now he has Lana. You could see them two on covers of magazines, on commercials. Why not?
I agree with you, Brian. I mean, he said he wanted to come back to the WWE to face Brock Lesnar. And that's the match that we all been wanting to see for a long time. Heyman and Lana on the mics will be great. I think it can happen, man. We can. Let's book it at the Rumble.
All right,
book it at the Rumble.
Let's book it at the Rumble. All right,
right.
D. I'm gonna go into the top rope because this was right here was special.
Going up to the top rope.
It's time for this week's Top Rope segment of the week.
My top rope this week, Aleister Black defeating Buddy Murphy. A match I know personally I've been waiting for. Indeed, we talked about how we've watched tons of matches. So some of these pay-per-views, if now that they're starting essentially at 5 or 6 o'clock with the pre-shows, or I should say kickoff shows, and then going into the main card where, all pay-per-views used to start at 8 o'clock. Now, it's that adjustment. It's like, oh yeah, they do start at 7 now. If you're not there, you may fast forward through some things, or you just watch it where you pick up at it because you've seen the matches already in some way, shape, or form. Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy. This wasn't a match that we had really seen before. And then these two went out there. The way they kicked it off, sitting down face to face, let you know we're about to tell a great story. And they did it. And to me, let me know, what did you think of the match?
Well, I always nickname Aleister Black the Devil Man for obvious reasons. But the man can wrestle. He's almost AJ Styles. The man can't have a bad match. He's just that good. And him and Buddy Murphy's ascended somewhat. He's been up and down in 2019, but with him, he's going to have a good match too. And Aleister Black, for his size, he can hit. He is hitting somebody. You know, one of my favorite matches with him was when he took on Pac, known as Neville at the time, in the UK tournament, man, and that was a great match. And the USA title needs to get on Aleister Black. You heard it here first. It needs to get on him. He can bring the USA title, and he can make it great again. We ain't talking about the one in the White House, but he can make the US title great again.
Well, I thought AJ Styles did a good job with that.
I think so, but you know AJ needs to be in that main event, because I'm not saying he's not a USA, but you know what I'm saying, like
he sells advertising.
Right, and having Aleister Black, the USA title on him, and the guys trying to get it off of him, and it ain't gonna be easy, man. The matches will be great.
I mean, you know, one of the things, we saw color in this match, right?
Woohoo!
And it made sense. I know it was an accident per se, but it made sense. And they made the adjustments during the match. Oh, one of the things, did you see when Bray Wyatt popped his shoulder back into place?
Ooh, man.
I was just thinking, wow, title reign about to go down the drain.
I tell you, man.
But right here,
a lot.
Yeah, but same with Aleister Black, you know, he went out there, he got bloodied up, and I thought I loved how Buddy Murphy just kept with the story and just kept working the face, and it was just little stuff like that goes to show, like, Buddy Murphy's really, really good, and I'm glad to see him on Monday Night Raw, and I really hope. I mean, the dude had this year incredible matches with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan on back-to-back weeks. You got to do something with this guy.
You know, I'm gonna mighty quick to get to your next question, Brian. But props to your guy, Daniel Bryan, man. He made a lot of people in 2019. Got Kofi into the title situation, winning the title. He made Ali. Had the good match with Buddy Murphy. This storyline now with Bray. He said, "Look, I don't want to have a match at TLC. Let's tell a story. Let's make it wait." And he has been magnificent, man. Magnificent.
I mean, he's the GOAT, you know. But in all seriousness, yes. I mean, and that's what it's about: giving back, keeping the business alive when you do stuff like this, you know. But D, let's talk before let's shift gears. NWA Power. I didn't watch it, but I read the results. I've been following the program, the product. What did you think about it? Did you read any results? Did you watch it? I know I saw in the group chat. I was out and about, but I saw the group chat yesterday where you was kind of letting us know what was going on. So, what's your thoughts overall?
I thought Into the Fire was a very good pay-per-view for them. It kind of reintroduced themselves, you know, having Aaron Stevens win the Americans title was I think is good.
The national championship.
National championship. I'm sorry.
No, but it is America's title.
I mean, I'm not knocking Colt Cabana, but I didn't know he was a face of heel, really, man. So it's kind of good. We know it's on the heel. We know Aaron Stevens gonna cut them promos and be a chicken heel, and that's good. I like Nick Aldis. I always have. You know, I was joking with my lieutenant. You met him, Lieutenant Dodd, at my job. Shout out to him. And I always joke around. I say, Aldis got it good in the ring because he got Camille with him, and then he go home to Mickey James. I said, that son of a gun. But yeah, man, he definitely reminds you of an old school NWA champion, man. The way he carries himself, the way he wrestled. I mean, he's perfect for that brand.
That's true, but I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see the Cowboy become the new NWA
Cowboy,
champion.
get it, man.
Yeah, man. Sorry about your damn luck. You know, I've always been a fan of Cowboy James Storm, and I was like, yeah, you know, this. It felt like he could be that hybrid champion of being a classic champion, but still understanding the new age media. Nick Aldis just reminds me of a wrestler from the 80s that's just in the 2010s body. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't look old.
I feel you. I mean, I think any other promotion probably wouldn't work, but I think it works with NWA.
That's true. You know, but Marty Scurll showing up, is this his final destination?
You know, I don't know, man. You know, we're gonna get. I know we're gonna get an AEW shortly, but everybody was saying he's going over there. He's going to join his guys, and if he stays in NWA, that's saying, hey, I kind of like it here. I see the other side, and I'm not quite liking that. I like what they're doing over here in NWA. I only got to work a couple days a month, and I can still take independent bookings and still be good to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I we'll see. I think both companies could use him. I think he would get lost in the NXT side of things. I mean, I know they will find something for him, but they just got so much talent. I mean, you look at the WWE roster, if you look at the names, you know, back around, what was it, 2013, people used to joke about JTG still being on the roster, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, do Vince and them know that he's still a part of the company? But right here, you have people like that literally who we've never even heard of that's on the WWE roster, you know, because they just have so much talent in a performance center waiting. NXT is only 2 hours. Right. They could have and then you got the NXT UK, which is a great product, but again, it's a lot of talent. So that's what I think, you know, for Marty Scurll, go over to AEW, go over to NWA, continue to make yourself a household name, or, you know, make yourself into a household name and see what happens. But you said, yeah, AEW. Oh, real quick, I want to touch on this. ROH, new champion, PCO, 50 plus years old. What do you think?
Oh boy, man, I tell you, Ring of Honor used to be the area where you had the working champions and guys like that. And now they just, they're training PCO. He's flash in the pan. He can only do like 3 moves. But hey, let's make him the champion. Let's make him the champion. That's what, man. You know, Ring of Honor, I thought at one point had a chance to be the second biggest promotion, like beside the WWE, and now it's, you know, the whole elite moving, you know, starting AEW up, and now Marty Scurll leaving and other cats leaving. Shane Taylor last night was the other night, and it's just
Shane Taylor's
holding
on
on,
too?
man. Yeah, he's gone too, man. Jay Lethal and the Briscoes holding on, man, but that might be about it.
Remember when they said the Briscoes were not cosmetically pleasing? And then they brought in the Wyatts, right?
Right. You know, I thought, man, the Briscoes was going to join up with the Wyatt family, man. That'd been nice.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. But now, you know, Luke Harper's gone. I mean, who knows? You never know. But yeah, I think it's interesting they went with PCO. Don't think he'll hold the title that long, personally.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't either.
You know, I guess. I mean, why didn't they do it in Canada? I don't understand. Remember, he told Kevin Nash that he was super over in Canada.
This is true. They did it here in Baltimore. God bless them. You know, but you know, it's not the Ring of Honor. I mean, I try to watch it like as we're taping the night as it come on. But I hate to say this, Brian, but it puts me to sleep.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same. I think they do lack star power. But we'll see. You know, it's an opportunity for some people to, you know, make a name for themselves. They got to figure that out. You know, the same way that Kevin Steen and Davey Richards and them got people watching. I mean, Kevin Steen and Davey Richards, they would put on some incredible matches. Yeah, Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards put on some incredible matches that wrestling fans were talking about everywhere, and that's what these guys got to do.
No, I know you break it down, Brian. I'm gonna bounce something at you about Ring of Honor, and you think one of the demises might be Sinclair owning a lot of the Fox networks and Fox getting smacked down? Maybe they feel like they don't need to put much money in this Ring of Honor and they're leaving it alone a little bit more than they would?
That could be a possibility. I do. Well, you know what? It's my show. People gonna listen. If not, I mean, people gonna get mad. I do know they said they'll never compete with WWE. Coming up, I'm gonna do a cheap plug here real quick. Tomorrow, or I should say Monday, will be the start of my new show titled Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. The first episode is my story, and on my story, I tell you how I turned down an opportunity to work at Ring of Honor to stay with Johns Hopkins. But one of the things during that interview process, and I'll probably never get a job now after the statement I'm about to say, but it's a fact. They said, they understand and never go compete with WWE. They don't kick out as much money, and that's the reason why they don't have to do layoffs when you have a lot of big TV layoffs. So I think that also reflects on the product sometimes, because you look at the production quality. Now AEW, here's the thing, right? You got AEW and you got Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor, they hit their cues. They hit their production cues on point for the most part all the time, right? Just the production quality is better. Don't get me wrong. It's much better, but it wasn't as great. But then you have AEW, great production, but they miss a lot of cues. Now they're getting better, but that's the difference,
Right.
So, but I'm gonna get ready to wrap things up, man. Any final thoughts or any other things you want to touch on?
We was in the chat last night, me, you, and the real Dwayne Allen. We was talking about AEW, and
y'all was going off. I literally put my phone down and I looked up and said 114 messages.
Because a lot of the thoughts he had, I had, man, watching it, and maybe because I watched NXT and AEW side to side, and I'd be looking more. I'd be just looking more over the AEW, man. Just I mean, not AEW, excuse me, NXT. I want AEW to succeed, man. We need it to succeed, but they're doing a lot of little stuff that gets you disinterested, and you can see in the ratings, man. NXT is kind of closing the gap here.
It's getting stale.
They're blowing. I mean, the main event level, they can do but so much, and props to Jericho, Cody, and Moxley, and Pac. They do well, man, but they're gonna blow through the matches pretty soon, and then you got to make some new stars here, and it just they just don't. I don't know if they got the guys that can do it. I thought Hangman Page could be one, but that's not working.
D, I'm a huge women's wrestling fan.
Oh God, their women's wrestling
it's just something they're not doing. The talent, they have great talent, but it's just something. It's the way it's being booked. Like Kenny Omega had to tell you the entire story for the women's match at I'm about to call it coin toss. That last
Full Gear, right?
Full Gear. He had to tell you that story through Twitter, which isn't fair. And they even said like there are a lot of guys and stuff are taking up too much time. The bottom line is the hot take. Call it what you want. Jim Ross, it's time for him to sit down. It's time for him to go. It's it. This is I'm sorry. I mean, this is a guy who I have the utmost respect for. D, I wrote my paper about him in a class that the real Dwayne Allen and I were in together. It was the first class we took together in college. We had to write about a broadcast or something. I wrote my paper on Jim Ross. So that goes to let you know how much I love him. Right. But you cannot go on TV saying, have these guys been here before when the company is only, 7 weeks old, dare say, as far as weekly television? You can't do that.
Jim Cornette mentioned that either both of them got to know or nobody knows, man. And everybody knows Jim Ross is credible. We're not knocking that caliber, but he's not known to a wide audience. JR is. I thought they left him hanging, man. Left him hanging a little bit and made him look bad.
It's time for Old Yellow to go sit down. Shawn Michaels had to sit.
You know what I think it is?
It's time for Jim Ross.
Brian? With JR, I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, you good.
I think he's been in the WWE bubble for so long.
Bingo.
That not knowing the alternative is kind of he's used to WWE wrestling. I think, if you notice, he calls Jericho matches good. Moxley, Cody, anybody in the E, he do well with. Anybody else outside of it, he don't have a easy time with their matches, man. And I think Shivani and Excalibur would make a good team.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to still keep JR, maybe do like specials interviews with him. That's cool. Because
Let him do his podcast.
Yeah, he's still mourning the loss of his wife, so I understand why he's out there. So you don't have to think about that pain, but it's tough, man. I admit it's tough some nights.
Yeah, let him do his podcast, give him a corner, give him a spot, let him do his interview spots that he used to do. The same thing he did when Triple H had said it was me, JR. Let him do stuff like that. But play by play all night, it's not. No,
it's hard.
You know what? Andy Reid was known for being able to get rid of football players a year too early rather than a year too late. And every time when Vince told Flair it was time to go home, was he wrong? He went to TNA and stunk up the joint.
You ain't kidding.
So that's the same with Jim Ross. It was great, it was real, but it's time to move on. Final thoughts?
Yeah, man. Outside of that, hope 2019's been a good year for everybody. 2020, we want wrestling to get more elevated. It's a lot of wrestling out here for folks to consume, and hopefully everybody get a taste of everything, man. It was just, in my opinion, Brian, I just don't want the WWE to have the main product and the alternative too, because they have both rolling, and it's kind of looking that way. It ain't gonna be good.
Well, you know what though? It's not, but hopefully NWA will continue to give us good product. Hopefully MLW can kind of maybe increase their audience, maybe get to a bigger network, and we'll see. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here, ladies and gentlemen. He is Demarus Dye. Let them know where they can find you real quick.
Of course, man, the Dye Sporting Network, home to the best sports action here in the area. We in the thick of high school basketball as we speak. Lake Clifton and Poly be playing. That game will be out this week, and we're going down to North Point, do some action with DMV teams, Rock Creek Christian and St. John's College, the main game. Catch us on our YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, and our official Facebook page, Dye Sporting Network, or Dye Sporting Net on Instagram and the Twitter. And one more thing, Brian, the Flex Zone. We're coming back, baby, in January. First week in January, right here. We're breaking it with Brian H. Waters. The Flex Zone is returning on January the 6th. The week of January the 6th, we're coming back, baby. We got promos coming out within the next week or two as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard him. He is Demarus Dye. I am Brian H. Waters. Make sure you subscribe to the Flex Zone. Make sure you subscribe to the Wrestling Realm. Follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Realm. Follow me at Brian H. Waters. Now, instead of my normal closeout, I'm going to give you a preview of my new show debuting on Monday called Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. Here is the first episode. From the storeroom to the boardroom, here's a reason why I turned down Ring of Honor Wrestling. Till the next time, folks, Brian H. Waters, check this out. So then I'm looking. Now I got to be aggressive because I ain't trying to lose, have another gap. And I find out that Ring of Honor Wrestling is hiring for an associate producer. I applied. I don't even remember if I talked to anybody, but I got the interview. They called me. I go in there, I sit down, I talk to guys. And then they introduced me to a couple of people, and I let them know that, yes, I was a fan of wrestling. I've been to a couple of shows. I don't really tell them, I've worked with some of their talent, but I just let them know, I kind of told them, look, this is where I want to be at. And like I said, the interview was good. Then a couple days later, the guy calls me. He said, dude, I got to be straight up. I want you but I don't know if we're going to be able to pay you what you're making now. And, you know, I just want to know, can we have a happy medium? So I gave him a number. I let him know that I wanted the job because this job is currently temporary. So this is my battle. A couple days later, Audrey, my manager, Dr. Wong, she comes over to me. So, do you have anything going on? I'm like, no, I've had an interview or two. Do you want to stay? I said, can I say this to you? Hell yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Break It Down with Brian H. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you get notified every time the Wrestling Wrealm posts new content.